Hello, it is I, Flossie, and I am here to say that I am excited to get back into reading. I have taken a little break from my channel, and I have been reading, but I haven't been reading like I normally would, and there's a lot of reasons for that. So if you're just curious or you're interested in that at all, stay tuned and I will tell you all about it. Hi, and welcome to my channel, the Grape Jelly Library, where we love to talk about books. And we haven't been talking much about books because I've been MIA, rightfully so. I don't even know where to begin with this. So my granddaughter, who is 6, was scheduled for heart surgery in July. And that fell through. So it was rescheduled for September. And it was looking like that was going to fall through the cracks as well. You see, without putting anyone's name out there or without, trying to ruin anyone's career or future, I won't get too far into it, but just know the surgeon, one of the surgeons that was scheduled to do the surgery, found himself in a little bit of hot water. Some sort of domestic situation went on. Court dates were set. Things were implemented between, I guess, him and his significant other, and boundaries were set. Meanwhile, with all of that behind the scenes going on, it interfered with my granddaughter's schedule for surgery. And so, while the surgeon is taking care of his affairs and trying to get himself out of hot water, my granddaughter was left in limbo. And so they have just changed hospitals altogether. Now it's looking like Philadelphia. I'm told September still might be the go date. I don't know. I don't have a lot of information right now. We're all just, derailed by the information that was put upon us, just last week. And everything is starting to make sense why the July date was rescheduled, but it's still conflicting. So I think the hospital just, said, pull the plug. And we're suggesting these other hospitals. So, my granddaughter is now going to go to a Philadelphia hospital. So, I don't know. There's that. So, and also, I did get to spend 6 days with her, and it was lovely. So, I was going to run, and take advantage of that opportunity. 6 days in heaven with, 6 days of pure bliss, spending it with her and just having all the fun. But, in between, just living life. I've been journaling. I've been doing my nutrition. I've been trying to lift some weights. And I could lift the weights, but I should have said I've been trying to stay disciplined and get myself into some sort of regime so that I, won't fight it. I fight it. I don't want to exercise. I don't want to do that anymore. I hate exercise, but we got to do what we got to do, okay? So I'm trying to talk myself down off of that ledge and tell myself it's only going to benefit me. So just do it. You don't have to do it 2-3 hours a day, and you don't have to do it 7 days a week. Just 3 lousy days a week, 20-30 minutes, good enough. So I'm trying to get myself into that, and I'm proud to say that, knock on wood, it's working so far. All right, so I'm giving myself 1 year of nutrition. And when I say nutrition, I'm saying this is the method that I'm going with. If it benefits my body and some sort of organ in my body, my hair, my skin, my eyes, anything like that, heart health, anything, kidneys, liver, whatever, if it benefits my body, then I will eat it. And if it is prepackaged, ultra processed, even processed, then I'm running from it. We all have to do what works for us, and that's the method that I'm going with right now. And surprisingly enough, did you know the more water you drink, the more you crave water? So I'm like on board with that. I get myself like this big, beautiful blue pitcher with flowers on the handle, and I fill it with ice, and I fill it with spring water, and then I drink it throughout my day. And I love having that pitcher just by my side and constantly refilling my cup each time I need to replenish it. So I've been doing that. Nutrition, spending time with my granddaughter, trying not to worry, because why? Just give it up to God, and He'll do all the worrying for me, and all I have to do is, show my support and be there. It's already handled. It's already taken care of, So I just got to get back into life and stop trying to run from it. I'm just trying to keep my mind busy, but not necessarily in a reading kind of way. I would say more creative. I have a more creative outlook than I do a sitting there in silence reading. I don't know. I'm going through some phases here, but I'm in the mood to read. I'm in the mood to read like a Stephen King, or I don't know, something thriller-like. But anyways, I am in the middle of a couple of books, and I have read a couple of books. And if you don't mind, I'll talk about it. Let's take a little look and see what I've been up to. Okay, so I don't even know if I should say, am I embarrassed or ashamed to say I've never read this? It wasn't required reading when I went to high school. Nobody ever brought this forth to my table. And I'm not much of a moviegoer, so of course I've never seen it. Gulliver's Travels by Jonathan Swift. So I am in the midst of this. I want to say I'm 6 chapters in. There's not a heck of a lot of chapters to this. 8 or 10. Not a lot of chapters, so I'm well on my way. I was quite amused at how Gulliver puts out a fire. I don't recommend it. I don't recommend it at all. I would not. He was so proud of that. Being able to help, but I wouldn't want to be the recipient of, dwelling in the unit or area where the fire was put out. Thanks, but no thanks. If you know, you know. So, I don't know. I'm a little bit amused with that book. And a book that I'm not so amused with. I don't want to say anything bad about a book because reading and books are selective. So, you know, I think it's important for me to say that I try not to be disrespectful. Whether I like the book or not, I try not to be disrespectful. And so, I find myself in a situation like that when I was reading this book, Gathering Blossoms Under Fire, the journals of Alice Walker. Okay, so here it is. And I did begin reading this book months and months and months ago, probably a year ago. And I put it down, and then I didn't pick it up, and I had no intentions of picking it back up. Except for one day I did pick it back up. And surprisingly enough, I finished it. Yeah, yay me. Because I never thought that I would. And I thought it would be beneficial for me to read this book because I had planned on reading The Color Purple. Haven't seen it, haven't read it. And I thought, well, maybe if I knew a little backstory about how that came to be, or, you know, the personality or characteristic of the person who wrote it, then maybe, you know, in some way it would be beneficial to me. And it turns out you do not need to read this at all. It's really of no benefit at all. But because I like memoirs and I like the story of someone's life, I thought, like, well, why not? So without me trying to be judgy, I will just say this is definitely a chill, relax type of book. There's like not any, there's, like I was going to say, not much, but there is not any fanfare or bells or whistles, and I didn't find it funny, I didn't find it humorous, I didn't, in a nutshell, I wouldn't pick this book up again. It's not for me. What do I want to say? Let me just tell you about the book. That's what I'll say. Okay, so it is obviously the story of Alice's life and her relationship with her mom and her family and her partners. How she carried on a relationship with a married man. And, you know, at one point, that married man was getting a divorce, but he was still married when, and she knew this, when he was seeing her, and he really had no intentions on moving that divorce along. So it kind of felt like he was, you know, what do they say? Having his cake and eating it too? I don't even know. I don't know. I don't want to put this book down. I don't want to put it down. And I thought I'm going to wait to give a review on this because there's not much I can say about it. It's like, if to me it felt like same story, different day. So it's a lot about her relationships. That's what I would say at least 3/4 of the book is about. Her relationships with different partners. And to me, it seemed like she is definitely, she's, I don't want to say needy, but, and there's nothing wrong with being needy, but it doesn't click with my personality. And when you're reading this many pages, something's got to click with you to make you want to pick the book up again. There's something about it that's got to make you want to pick the book up. And I don't know for me what that was. Other than I said to myself, don't give a review on it right away. Sit on it for a week or two and then see how you feel about it. And now that I'm 2 weeks out of the book, there are elements of the book that I'm missing. I feel like I invested a lot of my time, and like for me and Alice, the story has ended. For Alice, the story goes on. But, as far as Alice and I go, there's nothing left for me to know. There's nothing left for her to say. There's nothing left for me to know. I know about her love of houses. I know about her financial situations, her lectures. I know about her nutrition, her diet. I know about her parties and the company that she likes to keep, and her relationship with her daughter. Yeah, so there's not there's not a lot that I can actually say, which is funny because it's just one, for me, big book of, I feel like, how Cher is very blunt and forward. Like a part of me wants to be that, but a little part of me wants to hold back too. So, will I be doing you a justice by holding back? I don't think so, because like I said, books are subjective. We're just all going to basically, bottom line, read what we want to read, whether somebody tells us to or not. And I will never tell somebody not to read a book. I am simply saying this book did not connect with me, and knowing what I know now, if I seen it on the shelf once upon a time, I said, oh, this looks interesting, let me find out about it. I no longer I wouldn't say that or think that. And I don't even know if I'm going to even read The Color Purple now. I don't know. If I don't read The Color Purple, will I be missing out on something wonderful? Tell me. Comment below. Let me know if you've read it. Should I or shouldn't I? I don't know. Okay. So now there's some other books that I've read. I have read, somebody suggested that I read the memoir by Marla Gibbs. Do you know who she is? She was Florence Johnston, the maid on the Jeffersons. And I have to tell you, many is the time where before my homework, or I'd hurry up and get my homework done because the Jeffersons were coming on. I think I've seen every episode of the Jeffersons that there is to see. And I definitely got a kick out of George, and I definitely got a kick out of Florence. Those two characters made the show. So yeah, every week, once a week, I tuned in. So the name of her book is It's Never Too Late, and that's very interesting book. She's very honest. Doesn't have to be, you could keep some things to yourself, but Marla is choosing to just put it out there, put all her dirty laundry out there, and she's not trying to put on airs. She's not trying to be somebody that she's not. So I appreciate that. So her relationship with her abusive partner, her mother who was abusive, her grandmother who was abusive. This girl, a young lady at the time, Marla, she got the bum end of the stick, and I love her, and I love the book and her story, because I love a happy ending. I love when somebody finds their way through something regardless of their circumstances or regardless of what anyone else thinks. Prove them wrong. Show them, yeah, you can do it. So, she was also on 227, which I was not a fan of that. I don't think I've ever even seen a full episode of that one. But she had a major part in that show. I'm not quite sure, because I finished that book maybe a month or two ago, so I don't want to say, executive producer or anything like that. I don't want to give out false information. I don't quite remember, but I know she had a heavy, heavy hand in how the episodes were written and portrayed, and, how they were just going to come across to mainstream. So, very, very smart, tolerant, at times. I would say at times she fell victim to her own circumstances, and that showed in the rearing of her own children, and, how do we break a cycle? And so, I don't know, I found that book to be very interesting. I liked it a lot. And now, The Art of Racing in the Rain. Yeah, I read that book. Don't ask me why I chose that book, but I did, because you know what? The last thing I want to do is cry over an animal, especially if that animal is not going to be with us for very long. But, I just not, I'm usually never in the mood for a good cry. That's not my speed, but I thought maybe I could learn something or get something out of the book. Maybe this book is going to take me to another level in my mind, open up some doors, whatever. And I have to say, I did enjoy this book. So, I recommend all of the books. I recommend every single book that's ever written, unless it's... I don't want to say it. 1984. No, really, you could read that book. And A Clockwork Orange. I said it. I said what I said. When I read A Clockwork Orange, I had already read 1984 2 times. And the first time I read 1984, I got the creeps. And the second time, I was only slightly better coming out of it. I know it's never going to be a favorite book of mine. So when I read A Clockwork Orange, which, is on the same kind of gloomy scale as 1984, I wanted to not like it, and in a lot of ways I don't like it, but I tried to go into that one with an open mind, and I tried to gauge it according to where the author was trying to take us, and just be more open-minded about it, and just say, a horror book is not a comedy. So don't judge it. Don't compare it. Just take it for what it is, and do your best with it. And so I was able to come out of that one a little bit better, and that's only because I knew I was judging 1984, because it wasn't my feel, my vibe. It wasn't a world that I wanted to live in. And I said to myself, don't do that. Don't do that with Clockwork Orange. Let the book take you where they're intended to take you. And that is the great thing about it. It's not always going to be like rainbows and lemon drops when you're not picking up that type of book. So, recognize what it is, accept it for what it is, do your best with it, and keep reading all the books. So, that's where I am with that. So now I come to terms with both books, and I'm okay. I'm okay with them. So I've probably read about 4 or 5 more books since I've been MIA, but I'll save them for another video. What am I working on now? A fatal... I have a lot going on in my world. A fatal crossing. Yeah, that's what I'm working on now. And the book I am reading is, I want to say Swamp. This one. Oh my goodness. One day I'll get my act together. But anyways, until then, whatever you're reading, I hope you have a ball. Know that I love you. Be well, be good, be reading.